Meghan Markle sure played the fame game like a seasoned pro. And now it's all coming back to bite her, because Tom Bower, the man who's been wrecking carefully polished reputations for a living, isn't just pulling punches. He's pulling the curtain back on what might be the biggest PR illusion of the decade. Let's start with the image Meghan built. You've seen it everywhere. The underdog, the biracial girl from a tough background who broke barriers and married into the stiffest institution on earth. It was compelling, emotional, marketable. But according to Bower, that story was less underdog and more overproduced. Not a climb from struggle to royalty, but a chessboard filled with calculated moves, strategic handshakes, and carefully dropped people who no longer served a purpose. Here's the kicker. Bower didn't just speculate. He tracked down people from Meghan's past, former friends, ex-colleagues, even her first husband, Trevor Engelson. And what he paints is a portrait of someone less concerned with loyalty and more obsessed with leverage. Relationships weren't relationships. They were ladders. Climb, detach, repeat. And in Hollywood, that's a known pattern. Show up smiling, make the right impression, and disappear once someone more useful walks into the room. Now imagine all of that wrapped in a royal title. That's where things really go nuclear. Because Bower isn't just accusing Meghan of being ambitious, he's accusing her of building her entire royal identity on falsehoods. The fairy tale she fed to Oprah, the emotional trauma, the naive girl unaware of royal life, the victim of cold palaces and cruel courtiers. According to Bower, it's revisionist history. And the part that really cuts deep, he claims Meghan knew exactly who Prince Harry was, what he represented, and what kind of global access being his wife would unlock. This wasn't some organic blind date. This was a career move, a masterstroke. And Harry? Poor guy. If Bower's findings hold, he didn't just fall in love, he got played. He gave up his family, his titles, and most of his public goodwill for someone who might have seen him less as a partner and more as a project. That's not just emotional manipulation, that's legacy damage. Because Harry didn't just walk away from the firm, he burned every bridge on the way out. Meanwhile, Meghan's empire is starting to wobble. Her Spotify deal, terminated. Netflix projects on ice. The lifestyle brand she's trying to build in Montecito. Let's just say it's hard to sell authenticity when receipts are flying in your face. The same audience that once saw her as the truth teller is now asking, was any of it real? And here's what stings the most for Meghan. She can't control this narrative. Her usual PR tactics, carefully staged photos, emotional statements, victimhood, aren't working on Bower. He doesn't play by Hollywood rules. He's not after an interview or a seat at her table. He's out for truth. And when someone like that digs in, all the polished press releases in the world won't save you. Now, insiders are saying she's spiraling. Not crying in the corner, spiraling. We're talking rage-fueled, email-blasting, lawyer-calling chaos. She wants this shut down, but the more she pushes, the louder it gets, because the media smells blood. And once you lose the control you built your brand on, the fall is fast. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Hollywood doesn't care about truth, it cares about optics. And right now, Meghan's optics are radioactive. Studios want bankable stars, not walking headlines. Brands want safe faces, not lawsuits and exposés. When your name becomes synonymous with manipulation instead of empowerment, doors stop opening. That's exactly what's happening. Tom Bower didn't just write a book, he detonated a brand. The deals that were once handed to Meghan on a velvet platter are drying up. The same executives who gushed over her voice are quietly ghosting her reps. Spotify pulled the plug. Netflix is stalling. Even Archewell, the Sussex's supposed impact engine, is bleeding staff faster than they can post another mental wellness quote on Instagram. Behind the scenes, it's chaos. Staffers describing meltdown energy, meetings canceled, legal teams panicking over what Bower might drop next. And it's not just Meghan who's imploding. Harry is caught in the crossfire. Every new revelation chips away at what little public goodwill he has left. Imagine being the guy who trashed your family on international television, only to find out your wife might have been rewriting her life story the entire time. People aren't just questioning Meghan now, they're questioning Harry's judgment, his credibility, his spine. Sources close to the palace say King Charles and Prince William aren't celebrating, but they're not exactly shedding tears either. There's a strange calm coming from Buckingham because this chaos vindicates everything the firm endured. The accusations of racism, cruelty, emotional neglect, all of it now has asterisks. If Meghan's story doesn't hold water, neither do her charges. And for a royal family that's been dragging its reputation uphill since Diana's death, this feels like the weightlifting. The irony is brutal. Meghan built an entire platform around being misunderstood. She told the world she was silenced, stifled, bullied, but now, with the facts tumbling out, that narrative is crumbling like a house of cards. And her response? More control, more spin. She's firing off media statements, leaning into victimhood harder than ever. But it's not working, because once the public gets a taste of unfiltered truth, they stop drinking the PR Kool-Aid. Insiders say Meghan is debating whether to launch a counter-documentary, something that shows her side. But the problem is, people have already seen too much. You can't outspin a reputation collapse with another soft-lit confessional, not when Tom Bauer has timestamps, testimonies, and a paper trail. And it's not just the media watching. Business partners, brands, charities, they all watch how you handle crisis. Right now, Meghan's handling it like a CEO whose stock is crashing and whose first instinct is to scream at the interns. That's not leadership, that's panic. And in an industry built on relationships, people don't forget how you treat others when the cameras are off. But here's where things get dangerous, because when someone like Meghan feels the walls closing in, they don't retreat quietly. They plot, they counterattack. And that's the whisper in Hollywood right now, that she's preparing something big, a legal move, a media strike, maybe even a scorched earth tell-all aimed right back at the royals or Bauer himself. But what happens if that backfires? What if more people from her past step forward? What if more documents leak? What if Harry, already humiliated, starts questioning the reality he's wrapped his entire identity around? The truth is, Meghan has always been 2 steps ahead, but now she's playing catch-up. And in this kind of spotlight, one misstep isn't just embarrassing, it's career-ending. There's a reason Tom Bauer's revelations feel like a gut punch to Meghan's empire. It's because they hit where it hurts the most: control. For years, she's thrived by shaping the narrative, by owning the angles, the lighting, the story arcs. But now someone else is holding the pen. And worse, that someone doesn't flinch when her legal team starts barking. The fallout is turning into a slow-motion wreck. Meghan's camp is scrambling, calls to editors, favors being pulled like frantic emails begging for PR cleanup, all of it happening behind closed doors. But the damage isn't just reputational, it's emotional. Because Meghan's grip isn't just slipping on the public, it's slipping on Harry, and that's the part she can't afford. He looks broken, not just confused or hurt, broken. The kind of quiet that settles in when your whole identity starts to feel like a lie. Friends say he's stopped defending her behind the scenes, that he's withdrawn. That the man who once went to war with the British press over a single headline is now too exhausted to fight. Meghan might be used to backlash, but Harry, he's not built for this kind of collapse. And Meghan knows it. What scares her most isn't Bauer's book. It's what happens if Harry finally opens his eyes. Because without him, the entire structure she's built, brand, identity, power, collapses. Without Harry, she's not a duchess. She's not the woman who walked away from the crown for love. She's just another celebrity with a scandal, and that doesn't sell. The press is circling, producers are backing away. Even the brands once lining up to attach themselves to Meghan's image are retreating like she's radioactive. And Montecito, once her sanctuary of reinvention, is starting to feel more like a glass house. Neighbors whisper, staffers leak, photographers lurk. She built a fortress to protect the story, and now the story is the threat. So where does she go from here? Retreat is an option, but it won't satisfy her. Meghan doesn't do fadeaways. She'll likely try to relaunch again, rebrand again, maybe even play the ultimate card, vulnerability. A dramatic, raw interview. Tears. Redemption. America loves a comeback story, but it only works if the fall feels real. And right now, Meghan's fall feels engineered, not earned. People aren't sympathizing, they're watching, judging, smirking. And Bauer? He's not done. Insiders say he's sitting on more stories, statements, photos, receipts. Meghan can fight back, but every move she makes gives him more relevance. The louder she screams, the more legitimate he looks. And that's the chessboard she's stuck on. Every square leads to another trap. The final twist? The royals. The very people Meghan painted as villains are winning the long game by doing nothing. Silent, poised, regal. While Meghan drowns in headlines, they just keep walking, heads high, letting the storm blow over them. Because in the end, all they had to do was wait. Meghan's empire wasn't toppled by one interview, one lawsuit, or one headline. It was undone by the truth that finally caught up.